Welcome back to Southwest Yard and Garden. I'm Curtis Smith. Today we're at a nursery looking at some of the gifts for gardeners that you might want to consider for your friends who garden. We're with Rick Hobson at Roland's Nursery. We've got a good selection that you've pulled out here for us to look at. You can find these at almost any nursery. And, you know, this is one of my favorites right here. I have one I use all the time.
Yeah, you were saying that. You were using that with a little longer handle, maybe like one of these.
Yes.
And what functions does it serve for you?
For me, I use it several ways. One, it's just undercutting weeds, so it's easy to pull the weeds out.
Sure.
If I want to cultivate the soil, I turn it this way, and it's at an angle, so it does a pretty good job. It'll open furrows if I'm planting seed.
I'll have to try one of those.
So this is one that I like. It does a lot of different things. It does it very well. And because it's got a fairly short handle, either this one or the longer one, I've got more control.
Yeah, I like hand tools. I'd much rather be down in the dirt with a hand tool than I would with a bigger, longer-handled shovel or spade.
What else do we have here?
We have a lot of different tools. This is probably one of the highest quality bulb planters. It's almost cast iron. Digs a nice hole. People often wonder, well, how does the dirt get out of the top? Well, you put this in, the dirt sticks in here, and then when you dig your next hole, of course, it pushes it up out of the top. Your soil needs to be a little moist, have a little humus to it. This wouldn't work very well in a sandy soil because your sand would try and fall back in. So you want to have an enriched soil, but this is a great tool for digging.
I like that too, because if you don't prepare the soil first, you're not going to push that in.
That's right. You can't use this
the bulbs will
tool.
be a lot happier if you do the work
That's
first.
Right.
Let's look at this one, because it's for planting bulbs as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why it's got the marks on here as far as depth of planting goes. I prefer this to this. I like being able to make a bigger hole and not being limited to the size of the hole, or even a smaller hole for a crocus or a smaller bulb, little Dutch iris or something like that.
Okay, and you were going to the saw?
This saw here is a very specific pruning saw. Very, very sharp, very, very easy to use because it's smaller. Some of those are a little bigger, but this gets in between short, narrow crotches of branches. Great tool. It's very, very well designed, very sharp. Be very careful with it, of course.
Good with shrubs, with roses, as well as smaller branches on trees.
Exactly.
And it's a pruning saw, not a carpenter's saw.
And use it as a pruning saw. Don't ruin your good pruning saw on a 2x4 or something like that.
That's right.
And because it's so sharp and designed, it's got this sheath, which is really important. So kind of nice. Nice pruning saw.
And in general, we've got water plants. I like this when I'm out watering in a flower bed or a planter box. And if I'm indoors, something like this or other variations is really good to have.
Yeah. The colors on these are fun, but they're also easy to find.
It's good. Green, you're going to lose.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
What else?
Well, you know, for just a simple gift for the gardener, of course, a good pair of leather gloves working in the yard is always needed and necessary. So you've got either type of gloves, and I like leather ones, but they need to fit well for me. So a good pair of leather gloves works really well. Gardening shoes, and these are fun because you can kick them on and off real easily. They're easy to wash off. Again, they come in various colors, and that's for ease of finding or for design if you're into the designer. Not afraid to make a fashion statement, I guess it would be. Good, easy gardening shoes.
Speaking of fashion, you got to clean up after your garden.
Right. So you have gardener soap. This is a good pumice soap that's designed to help get dirt off your hands. So this is a good gift for gardeners. Maybe a stocking stuffer. This would be nice. You could take these out like we've done here. Gardener soap. So there are just many, many ideas. If you have a houseplant buff, you've got little tools you could work in your houseplants with, or your terrariums, or things like that.
And of course, there's the bigger tools that we're not showing here, the shovels, the hoes, the rakes, and all those things, which are always good gifts. And then you've got some ideas here of how these can be packaged as gifts. They can be bought in the nursery this way, or someone could make this up themselves, where you make a collection using something to carry it in.
Yeah, the tote box could even be a gift, and that's why I put this together, where the box is some place you could put all of your stuff. So when you want to go out into your yard and garden, you have all of your little things that you like to use, your favorite tool, maybe your shoes, your gloves, a pair of pruners. And the other couple of baskets I did were very theme specific. This one here, seed starting, with a heat mat and some seed starting, potting soil, a seed tray and some seeds. This one here, a bulb starter. 3 or 4 different kinds of bulbs, a book about bulbs, a pair of gloves. So you have lots of imagination and choices to use when you're buying a gift for a gardener. There's more than we have time to talk about.
And you can adapt it if you have gardening children. You can make sure that the seeds you buy in a package
Yeah.
and attached to the basket are those which are really appropriate. Rick, thank you so much.
You're
And I
welcome.
hope I get something like that this year.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.